Hello, my name is Melissa Cazares, and the title of my artwork is My Only Enemy Is Me for contemporary studio class. My piece is based on a song by the band Stick to Your Guns called Such Pain. It is a song that's on their album named Diamond, which was released back in 2012. Um, the band's lyrics range from self-reflection to political and social statements, and this song that I chose is based on self-reflection on the individual. Um, my piece is based on the lyric that says, "Your greatest enemy is your own inner perception, is your own ignorance, is your own ego." And the song also talks about or mentions how, in order to protect people's own egos, know no bounds. Basically, people will do anything in order to get what they want, even if it's for good or for bad. Some examples that came to my mind was how an individual can steal money, let's say for their mother's medication, or someone stealing food in order to feed either themselves or their family. We can see these things, stealing is as can be looked at as bad, but for them, they needed to do it in order to protect either themselves or someone they care about. Um, and the lyric that I based off, where it says, "Your greatest enemy is your own inner perception," made me think about how we can see ourselves as anything, either good or bad. Are we afraid? Are we proud? Are we overconfident? Do we have fear inside of us? And what can all these emotions lead to? And our choices make us who we are, basically. If we look at ourselves in the mirror, what do we see, or what do you see? It can always be something different. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. Um, it all depends on that specific moments in our lives that we go through. And I ended up making a lino cut print, and this is um, the idea diagram that I based my work off of. The first step of my process was making a rough sketch and then transferring it onto the piece of linoleum. Here I have an image of the carving process, where I go in and try to carve out every little bit of detail in the skeleton, and in the girl, try to get the detail in the hair, the waves, and try to get as much as detail also as possible in the mirror and the skeleton. Here are the materials that I used for my art piece. I used a 4-inch soft rubber roller and speedball water soluble black ink and a piece of plexiglass in order to roll the ink. Here I have how the ink looks when I rolled it and placed it onto the linoleum. This was my first time experimenting or using water soluble ink, and it's very different than from the one that we used at school, the oil-based one. I found out that this one was a bit harder to use than the one from school. Here's the first set of proofs for my art piece. As you can see, there's certain blotches around the image on these two. Water soluble ink is very different than the oil-based ink, and it was a little bit tough to work with, especially since I was using um, materials that I could use at home as well. I don't have um, the machine necessary for printmaking. I was using a measuring cup to transfer the image, but this is the best that I could get. But looking at it, I figured that I could also make the piece a bit better, maybe by carving out a bit more on the squares that are around the mirror. And so that's what I ended up doing. Here's the finished piece titled My Only Enemy Is Me. It is a 9 by 11 inch lino cut print on drawing paper. This was the best quality that I could get since it was really tough doing it on the actual printmaking paper. And I ended up carving out the inside of the rectangles in order to make them look more like mirrors. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much.